Good evening. Huh, didn't feel like being in the dark tonight. So, um, man, a lot of different news today. A lot. Some almost humorous back and forth between us and Canada. Um, looks like it looks like they've got actually Ukraine behind a possible ceasefire. So just got to talk to the Russian side and see if there's an agreement that can be made. Crazy thing is the drone attack that Ukraine had did on Russia. Um, I don't know the exact timeline there, to be honest. I think the drone strike happened right before they said that they would be willing to go along with a ceasefire. I think, but if I'm wrong on that, forgive me. Um, Other than that, a lot of craziness, a lot of talk about different things that are happening to like Tesla dealerships, and they torched like four of the Cybertrucks. I think it was Seattle or something. That's insane. Um, it's domestically things are looking a little spicy, to be quite honest. Um, I think it's just a small group of individuals that feel so strongly. I think a lot of other people, to be honest, are scared to death because of everything that they're hearing on the mainstream news. I mean, um, they keep hearing how it's the end of the world because Donald Trump is president. Or if it fits the moment, Elon Musk is president. They've tried to pull that one. So, hey, the reality of it is, we're just on this roller coaster. We have zero effect. Now, together, if we actually raise hell together as to what we want, there's a chance we'll see results. And I hope that that is what we are seeing happen. But I'm apprehensive, and I'm very watchful because there's uneasiness as well with who all's being put in what places, and then it really doesn't help with the Epstein file BS. That really didn't help. So all we can do is see what happens. I think that there are a lot of indicators that are showing that we might have some even tougher times ahead. For how long? I don't know. There's a lot of changes being made. And I'm not going to try to BS myself or you or anybody that I am intellectual enough about things involving nations, finances, and all of that stuff, because I'm not that guy. But what I see is the United States becoming not totally, but more of an I can't say the word now. Isolationist country. I don't know why I had trouble saying that. I still had trouble, but I got it out. I think that while we may not go both feet in on that, I do think that we will become a lot more self-sustainable, and I think that going to have a lot of jobs coming. Now, I say that as 1,300 Department of Education workers were laid off. That's like half the force. And, of course, trying to shut down the Department of Education. That'd be the other half. So, while I'm not knocking this, I think it's a good thing. The reality is that right now we've just got, I don't know, they said some of them took kind of like early bonus leave or whatever the hell, whatever they're calling it. I don't know how many. I don't know if that covers most of them, the 1,300. I have no idea. However, it would be better to make that cut and pay that severance pay, if you will. You're not continuing and ongoing paying those salaries for those individuals. So at some point, you'll not only get caught up, but you'll start saving the money from that. And I think that's the approach that's being taken. However, as I was saying, those 1,300 people are now, many of them will probably take a little time off if they got, say 8 months worth of severance pay. I'm sure, but there are many of them as well that are going to try to get back right into that job market, a job market that I will remind you is not good. There may be a lot of open jobs, but a lot of those open jobs aren't skilled jobs, and a lot of those open jobs aren't jobs that have benefits. So, there's going to be an impact from that as well. Again, I'm not complaining. This is something that has to be done. But the reality of it is it's going to affect all of us. It's going to affect us all. There's no way around that. We either take that pain and overcome it, or we just screw ourselves until whatever else. I don't know. There's I don't think a whole lot of opportunity to be able to save this nation's economy. I really don't. And at the same time, put people back to work, because that is what makes up the economy. It's people working and then buying other goods. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt for a while. But I think we can do it. I know we can do it. I just hope that we don't have to go through something like the Great Depression to get there. So, can't say it can't happen, because it has. So anyway, going to start off with this story about this teen challenge. And it's insane. Let me have a sip of coffee real quick. I never want to quit sipping the coffee. It's like so good. Yeah, and then got some real interesting stuff I'm going to be covering involving Skydio. That's a drone manufacturer doing the very thing that DJI was blamed of doing, that DJI wasn't doing. Hey, Kenny, what's up? How you doing? Let's see. This is like insane, yo. Festus, that's a place in the St. Louis area. Festus woman's door kicked in by teens caught on camera. This is insane. Let me show you.
A troubling trend, teens kicking in front doors and then making a run for it. Tonight it is...
I just wanted to show you what he did. He just I guess they go up to the door, they literally kick the door in, and then take off running. This is not, let me rewind that. This is not going to end well.
Troubling trend, teens kicking in front doors and then making a run for it. Tonight,
that is dumb. That is very, very dumb. Says Elaine Kerr said she was almost asleep Saturday night when she heard a boom at the front of her house. It was so loud that I knew it had to be something major, she said. She soon learned it was teens kicking at her door. I looked outside and I see a man running towards my house at full speed, she recalled. Then when he got closer, I realized he was dressed in black and had a mask on. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Festus police tell First Alert 4 that 3 teens were in the area of 7th and North Mill around 11 o'clock Saturday night, trying to kick in the doors of several houses. An 18-year-old who was taken into custody and later released. Charges have not yet been filed. Police said a juvenile was caught and released. Another teen is on the run. Law enforcement said the teen's actions are similar to an online trend called Door Kick Challenge that has made headlines across the country. I know teenagers loved to do pranks back in my day, and kids were younger. It was ding-dong ditch, where you ring somebody's doorbell and run. Annoying but not destructive, Kerr said. It was usually during the day, so not as frightening, and things just keep escalating. And there was other fun too, like putting dog waste in a paper bag and lighting it on fire. And I better not give any ideas to the youngins. Hopefully there's no youngins that ever see this. Anyway, it's crazy. Says footprints now cover Kerr's front door, and there is damage to the frame. She estimates there is at least $2,000 worth of damage. She feels her security has been compromised. Until you fix that door frame, yeah. I feel very invaded, even though I was one of the lucky ones, though, she said. I feel like I will never feel completely safe in my house again. Lady, start packing. Kerr hopes people will consider the potentially dangerous consequences that come with the trend. I hope people are going to start taking it seriously because they really may get shot someday, she said. What I'm saying, that would be a horrible thing to live with, shooting an 18-year-old kid basically because nobody really wants to do that, but they will protect their property. That's just it. Nobody wants to be in that situation. The Festus Police Department is seeking additional victims. They're asking people in the area to check cameras and whatnot. So, very insane. Something that I highly recommend they knock off, because holy cow. I honestly, I don't know if I ever even did I don't know that I ever did the knock. I'm sure I probably did. Maybe once or twice or something like that, but there's no particular time that's sticking out in my memory. I do remember, like, calling up the local Kroger store and asking, if they had Prince Albert in a can. Well, let them out. That's not nice. Yeah, I know, stupid, but those were the days, right? Like before caller ID and all of that stuff that ruined all the fun. Like when you called home collect and your name was "Come Pick Me Up." The good old days. When the latest in consumer technology was a pager that you would receive a phone number on, and you could stop at a payphone and call the number back. Anyway, I'll stop. Those were the days, though. I miss those days. It was a much simpler world back then. On a personal level, I think the world itself still had the same complications and all of that stuff, but we weren't so intertwined into everything. Anyway, this next headline is a little crazy. Unfortunate. Attempt to make s'mores blamed for wind-driven brush fires that swept across the area of Long Island. There's multiple brush fires, I can't speak, that burned across the wooded area of Long Island over the weekend were accidentally caused by a family's attempt to make s'mores, Suffolk County Police said Monday. Commissioner Kevin Catalina said detectives traced the cause to a home in Manorville and a morning attempt to make the campfire dessert of toasted marshmallow and chocolate between graham crackers. For those that don't know what a s'more is. The individuals making the s'mores were unable to get the fire lit due to the winds, but they used cardboard to initially light the fire, Catalina said at a news conference. That person subsequently discovers that the fire does ignite and the backyard area all goes up in fire. That fire was extinguished around 10:30 a.m., but burning embers carried by the wind are believed to have started fires in other locations. So, s'mores is to blame for that fire. S'mores. Such a tasty treat. Given such a bad name. Anyway. We got races going on in town tonight, so got the windows open because, let's see. This next one, most people probably wouldn't be interested in or concerned about. I am because, well, for one, I believe in hashtag freedom, and two, it's an awesome technology. It truly is. Drones. So DJI has been under fire for quite some time now. Hands down, as far as consumer drones are concerned, are by far the top in the competition. The price point, the quality, all of it is top notch. I'm not afraid to say it. I love their products. They're under a lot of fire and facing a lot of bans and all kinds of nonsense. They've already had a lot of bans put in place. But, fortunately, they haven't been completely blocked out yet. Skydio, the reason why they've been fighting so much or had to fight so much is because Skydio has been doing a lot of lobbying trying to get the United States to stop buying Chinese drone technology. Now, that would normally be a good thing, but this is being pushed by a company that the drones that they produce aren't that great. They're just not. And they're super expensive. It makes no sense for our government to ban a proven drone technology that has been tested multiple times by independent agencies for whether or not it's sending back data to China or anything like that, and there has never been anything even remotely close to any type of a data breach or them sending information back to the CCP. There's not been a single shred of evidence of any of that. But through crappy business, because I think that's an awful crappy thing, awful crappy way to try to become on top in an industry. That's what's happening. So, again, the blame is that Chinese drones and their app is sending important, valuable information about the United States or us or whatever back to China. That's the claim. But check this out. Skydio sent advertising to police departments, right, that spark privacy and security concerns. Now check this out. At first you may not realize just how serious or what it was these had in them. Says Skydio, a prominent U.S. drone manufacturer known for its advocacy against Chinese-made drones due to alleged data security risks, is now under scrutiny for a marketing campaign targeting law enforcement agencies. According to allegations from sources, including a police sergeant from a large California department who wrote to Drone XL on condition of anonymity, reveal that some promotional mailers sent by Skydio embed sophisticated tracking technology that monitors recipient interactions in real time. Recent insights from a March 4, 2025 call with MARC Media, the supplier of these Mark video brochures, provide a deeper look into the technology's capabilities, amplifying concerns about transparency and consistency with Skydio's public stance on privacy protection. Law enforcement agencies report that Skydio's promotional materials are A5-sized cards featuring video brochures powered by MARC Media's innovative technology. According to the sergeant, his team conducted what he described as a forensic analysis that he claims identified AT&T SIM cards and batteries. The sergeant alleged that based on his team's examination, there was reason to believe the devices might have collected location data when carried to other locations or even home by numerous recipients. Even home. That's certainly an AT&T SIM card. The sergeant later confirmed his team received two mailers, one where they did not recall seeing any privacy disclosure sticker, and a second where they verified no such sticker was present at all. MARC Media, during the recent call with Drone XL, detailed the technology driving these mailers. Each Mark unit integrates 5G connectivity through a partnership with AT&T, offering a choice between 5-inch or 7-inch True HD 720p screens. The devices boast a 9-month battery life, extendable via USB-C port for recharging or media updates, and support up to 20 minutes of video storage across multiple files. Buttons on the cards allow for play, pause, navigation, or call to action prompts like make an appointment or I'd like to learn more, enhancing user interaction. The tracking system leverages cell tower triangulation, collecting data on opens, impressions, interactions, durations, top locations, and location changes. Screenshots from Mark's analytics demo, not Skydio dashboard, shared during the call, reveal 561 active Mark units over 251 days, with 1,959 total engagements, averaging 6.62 per unit, and a cumulative duration of 30 minutes, 58 is that 30 hours? Or I think that might be 30 hours. 30 hours, 58 minutes and 26 seconds, I'm guessing. Top recipients engaged up to 172 times, spending over 2.5 hours, while 665 distinct locations were tracked across the U.S. This is insane. And this is the company that is lobbying to get DJI kicked out because they want to eliminate the competition. This is insane. Mind-blowingly insane. Oops, sorry. I'll try not to do that again. Did it wake anybody up, though? Let's see. I turned my volume down, so if I accidentally hit it now, that won't happen. Sorry about that. I need to actually move that to like the end of my row. Let's see. I could do it any time, I just never do. Let's see. Let me have some coffee. Oh, goodness. Sounds like they're having fun at the racetrack. I think it's practice night or something. Just got a big huff. A grumbling huff, by the way. Wasn't just any normal. It's kind of a snarl, grumble, huff. I'm pretty sure it had like all three components. Did she? I wonder if she's sleeping. Oh, man. Okay. Next up, I've got 5 more articles open. Probably won't spend as long on most of them. I almost hit that damn button again. U.S. Hang on. I'm gonna fix that crap right now. I'm gonna try to fix that crap right now. Put that up there. Put that there. I'll put that there. Oh, wait. Put that up top. Okay. Let me restart my app here. Aha! There we go. Put it in non-tard mode. Alright, let's see. U.S. military fuel tanker collides with chemical cargo ship. I'm sure you probably heard about this. Have you heard what it sounds like when you... Never mind. I was going to say hold your tongue and... say you live on a pirate ship. U.S. military fuel tanker collides with chemical cargo ship. This is insane. I believe this is the one where a gentleman was actually arrested, if I'm not mixing up stories. But U.S. flagged fuel tanker collided with a Portuguese flagged cargo ship in the North Sea. Wait, no, I don't think it is this one. Near the East Yorkshire coast on Monday, leaving both vessels heavily damaged and on fire. Ship tracking data indicates that the MV Stena Immaculate, which isn't too immaculate anymore, was anchored near the port of Grimsby when the MV Solong struck its port side at approximately 9:48 a.m. local time. The impact caused multiple explosions and ruptured one of the tanker's cargo tanks, leading to a significant fuel spill. The UK Maritime and Coast Guard Agency responded promptly, deploying rescue helicopters, lifeboats from multiple locations, and firefighting vessels to the scene, Of the 37 crew members from both vessels, 36 were rescued and brought ashore, with one individual hospitalized. One crew member from the So Long remains unaccounted for after the extensive search was called off due to challenging conditions. Let's see. The MV Stena Immaculate, managed by Crowley Maritime, is a chemical tanker with a dead weight of 49,729 tons. That's kind of heavy. At the time of the collision, it was under charter by the U.S. Navy's Military Sealift Command, transporting approximately 18,000 tons of Jet A-1 fuel for the U.S. military. The MV So Long, owned by Hamburg-based Ernst Russ, is a 140-meter-long cargo ship built in 2005. It was en route from Grangemouth to Rotterdam, carrying at least 15 containers of various chemicals, including highly toxic sodium cyanide. Yeah, that stuff kind of sticks around for a while. The collision caused jet fuel to leak into the North Sea and raised concerns about environmental risk, particularly from the sodium cyanide on board the So Long. The Maritime and Coast Guard Agency is actively monitoring the situation, assessing the necessary counter-pollution response. What do you do when a bunch of cyanide gets dumped into the ocean? Don't eat the fish, I could tell you that. Authorities have launched an investigation into the cause of the crash. Initial reports indicate the dense fog and possible human error, you think, may have been contributing factors. The Marine Accident Investigation Branch is leading the inquiry to determine the circumstances surrounding the event. One ship hit another ship. Okay. Copy. Never did get that plastic piece completely off yet. For those that may not know what the hell I'm talking about, have to watch the video I made earlier today. I'm trying. It just ain't liking it. Fun times. I can only work at it for little bits at a time because my hands get shaky. I don't want to cut the solar panel itself. I'm sure I can find one cheap, but the idea is not to break it in the first place. I would love to figure out how in the hell they got the magnet inside of it, though. I don't see any mold marks anywhere on the body, anywhere, and I've looked that body up and down. I'm good at finding that kind of stuff. I can't find a mold mark anywhere. But there's this huge-ass magnet inside of it. And, I mean, the thing isn't very big, but, I mean, it's a big magnet. And I see no mold marks to where they, like, put two halves together or anything like that. Nothing at all that I can find that would have been a separate piece. Nothing. It's crazy. And I've looked on both the inside and the outside, obviously the outside, but I've looked on the inside really good too, because obviously you could paint and cover something up. Nothing. Big mystery for me is, how in the hell did they build the helicopter around the big magnet? It's not a helicopter, but whatever. Osprey. You could mold it together inside of there, but did they really go through all that? I'm thinking not. Okay. I'm not going to spend any time on this next one. I talked a little bit about it in the beginning. Russian defenses down 337 Ukrainian drones. I think that was like right before they announced they were willing to do a ceasefire. Kind of interesting. Also, um, one of the big wigs with OSCE or whatever it is was going to be visiting Russia. So Russia claims that that's one of the reasons why they did it, as well as poking at their eye before they call for a ceasefire. The old trick. But I'm not quite sure how that could work out, because it's not like Russia can't do anything. They've got a senior MP saying that they should launch an Oreshnik strike in retaliation for the drone attack. Now, it's important to remember that at this point, Russia's not signed on to a ceasefire plan, so they could poke Ukraine back in the eye and then say, "Yeah, we'll sign a ceasefire agreement." And if it were me, that's probably what my response would be. I'd give him a good damn poking, though. So, I'd give him a good poking. Okay. This here, I'll read a little bit of this. It says Moscow should employ its new Oreshnik intermediate range ballistic missile system in response to a major Ukrainian drone attack targeting residential I can't think now. Residential areas and civilian infrastructure inside Russia, a top MP has stated. Total of 337 Ukrainian UAVs were shot down above Russian territory overnight, the defense ministry in Moscow said on Tuesday morning. Russian media described it as the largest drone raid by Kiev since the escalation between Russia and Ukraine in February 2022. In Moscow region, 3 civilians were killed and more than a dozen wounded as a result of the attack, according to Governor Andrei Vorobyev. When asked by journalists on Tuesday if Russia should strike Ukrainian targets with Oreshnik in retaliation, the head of the Russian State Duma Defense Committee chairman Andrei Kartapalov replied, the decision is up to the Supreme Commander-in-Chief, Russian President Vladimir Putin. But I think it would be appropriate to launch the Oreshnik, and it would be even better if it was more than one missile, added the MP, who is a former deputy defense minister who holds the rank of colonel general. The Oreshnik missile, which was deployed in secrecy, made its battlefield debut in November 2024 when it struck Ukraine's Yuzhmash military-industrial facility in the city of Dnipro. According to Moscow, the state-of-the-art system was deployed in response to Kiev's attacks deep inside Russia with Western-supplied long-range weapons. Putin says the warheads travel at 10 times the speed of sound and cannot be intercepted by any existing air defense. That would, as far as I know, be correct. We don't want to get into this war. We are not in a position to do that. We're just not. And it's senseless to begin with. The biggest reason this war even started was because the West pushed the idea of NATO in Ukraine, which has been a long understanding with Russia that wouldn't be done. Well, they kept pushing and kept pushing. From my understanding, people that were in, was it eastern Ukraine, the people that was near the Russian border and stuff, have been treated very poorly. They've been attacked and everything else. They're Russian-speaking people. They align more with Russia. It's from what I understand, and you know, I think it's probably a good thing. I think that these people in these locations do want to be a part of Russia. So we'll just have to see. Um, Getting kind of crazy quick though, as far as how the EU and the UK is responding. Um, they just they're hell bent for keeping it going. They are hell bent for keeping it going. But like Trump said, it wasn't false by any means. Um, we hold the cards, and if we stop giving them aid of any kind, stop helping them in any way with this conflict, they're going to fall fast, and I mean they're going to fall hard. It's going to be a hell of a lot more than just the areas that Russia currently has control of. And then if you get countries like France and get the UK involved, it's going to be ugly. And I don't think the United States, I don't think Trump is willing to sign on to NATO's crazy idea of fighting Russia. I don't see that. So everything's still up in the air, but it's a good sign, at least at this point. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I'm doing these in order that I posted them on Twitter. I think except for the first two stories. But anyway. Now I gotta get used to the switched buttons, which only take me a year. Trump says U.S. and Russia to hold imminent talks on Ukraine, says Reuters, so this is good. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that an American delegation will meet with their Russian counterparts today or tomorrow, the 11th or the 12th, Reuters reported on Tuesday. The statement follows the conclusion of negotiations between the American and Ukrainian delegations in Saudi Arabia, during which Kiev agreed to a 30-day ceasefire and Washington committed to resuming intelligence sharing with Ukraine. That's a total ceasefire, Trump told reporters outside the White House on Tuesday after the talks. Ukraine has agreed to it, and hopefully Russia will agree to it. Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is expected to travel to Moscow in the coming days to discuss the Ukraine conflict with Russian President Vladimir Putin, but neither U.S. nor Russian officials have publicly confirmed the trip or its exact date so far. I would expect an announcement tomorrow on that. So we'll see. Hopefully they can work something out, because that's not good. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in the entire world. And I know that when the world is in economic peril, they go to war. I mean, historically, that's what they've done. Will they again? We got to wait and see, but there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts in all of this. We'll have to see. Oh, hang on. Okay. Kiddo starts she itches because of her allergy. She's got allergies and anxiety, so she itches. Once in a while, she'll start scratching, and I gotta stop her, otherwise she'll sit there and keep scratching. So poor kiddo. Done everything we can ever since she was a pup, and poor thing. Let's see. Coffee. One more article. And another one I find kind of humorous. And I must say, in reality, I haven't sat and put a lot of thought into this. I joke around about it a lot. Because I think it sounds funny. But I've never really put a lot of thought into it. Not quite. I suppose it would be good. I don't know. Kind of like when you buy a used car, right? Sometimes you're not buying yourself relief, you know. Sometimes you're just buying yourself somebody else's problem. So, you know, I don't know how to think about this. Trump offers new 51st state deal to Canada. Always got them deals handy. U.S. President Donald Trump, I think it's funny. Donald Trump on Tuesday said he would impose an even higher levy on Canadian imports, doubling steel and aluminum tariffs to 50%. He also reiterated that he wants to annex the world's second largest country, stating that the only way to resolve the tariff standoff would be for Canada to become the cherished 51st state of the U.S. Trump announced the move in a post on his platform Truth Social, explaining that the hike in tariffs was in response to the 25% retaliatory surcharge on electricity exports to the U.S. imposed on Monday by Ontario, Canada's most populous province. I have instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25% tariff to 50% on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada, one of the highest tariffing nations anywhere in the world, Trump wrote, adding that the hike would come into effect on Wednesday. The president also demanded Canada drop what he had described as an anti-American farmer tariff of 250 to 390% on various U.S. dairy products, as well as other egregious levies. A failure to comply will result in further action, namely the targeting of Canadian car production, using measures set to essentially permanently shut down the automobile manufacturing business, Trump warned. And it just goes on. You know, the banter back and forth. But, now this Doug Ford character, he came out today, and they backed away. Both sides have backed away. They're going to try to come up with some kind of a deal, which is all, I mean, whether it's theater or just the banter, whatever. We'll see what happens. Again, there's a lot of turmoil going on around the world. Right here in the United States, as I said at the top of the show, we aren't well right now, and I think we've probably got a little more pain than what we're feeling now. I'm not just saying that because everybody's saying it's the end thing to say, but I've been saying that for a while. This is something that we're in a hole that we have to crawl back out of, and it's not going to be pretty, but if we want to remain a sovereign nation, it's necessary. That's all there is to it. I've been telling people doing this for over a decade now. Put back what you can when you can. We don't have a lot. We don't have tons of stuff. But what we have's already come in handy because of the current inflation that we're dealing with. It's come in very handy. It's helped us get through months that it was looking a little bleak at the end there. So I am a strong proponent of putting back what you can when you can. And I would highly recommend people continue to do that the best they can. I know it's really hard now. Because I think it's going to be a little while. And like I said earlier, I hope we don't reach the level of the Great Depression. But we can't sit here and say that it's never happened before, because it has. And it can happen again. Especially if there's, nothing but a huge global spat and a bunch of isolationism. That'll do it in a heartbeat. Right now, we're not getting along so well with the EU and the UK. Of course, we have our tests with China and whatnot. I think we get along a little better with Russia than we do a lot of nations, to be honest. And I would expect that. Russia isn't sucking on the teat of America and then taking advantage of it and crapping back all over us. And there are a lot of nations around the world that are. Now, I'm not saying that we're innocent, because we're not. But I think that there's a strong possibility that there may be a lot of isolationism headed our way. Not just our way, but in many of the countries around the world. If you were to take away all of our imports tomorrow, it would literally be a national disaster. We would not be able to produce, not immediately. In time, yes, but not immediately, especially the medications that we mostly get from China. That would be dark. Real dark. A lot of our food is sent to other countries and processed in other countries because of the cheaper labor and then shipped back to us. Now, that might be a good thing because that's putting people to work here. But when you've got so many other people out of work, how are they going to pay for those products? Especially at a higher labor rate than what people were paying for before. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. I just hope it don't hurt too bad. Anywho, I'm gonna wrap it up and get out of here for the evening. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow night. We'll do it again. I'll be trying to keep a close eye on everything again tomorrow. And we'll see you then. Have a good night. Shalom. Catch you tomorrow.